Mob justice continues to claim lives across Uganda despite repeated calls by the police for the public to respect the rule of law. According to the 2024 Uganda Police Annual Crime Report, over 1,000 people were killed in mob justice incidents last year, making it the second leading cause of murder after assault. This year, the trend has persisted, with a notable incident occurring in Uganda recently where a mob lynched a police officer for arresting a suspect who later died in prison. Lawyer Jude Byamukama has identified impunity and public frustration with the criminal justice system as significant factors driving this violence.
People have this idea that they should be able to take the law in their hands and kill thieves, even if it's somebody who has stolen a phone, or really something that's not worth much. There is an element of impunity in that. Like when we look at the incident in Uganda, where a mob descends on a policeman and then eventually kills him. And that impunity is caused by the fact that not many people are aware about the criminal consequences of mob justice. And there's also a sense in which mob justice, especially which is connected to land disputes, comes out of a frustration with the justice system, that it is unable to render just and fair decisions for everybody irrespective of their socio-economic status.
Byamukama urges the police to publicize cases where individuals have been prosecuted for participating in mob justice to deter potential offenders. He also advocates for increased public education by the judiciary to help citizens better understand how the justice system functions.
People need to be educated more about the justice system, because sometimes there is simple ignorance about how the justice system operates. For instance, when I look at this case of Uganda where the policeman was killed by a mob, what wrong did he do? They are claiming he arrested the person who was a suspect in an attempted murder case. But that's his job as a policeman, to arrest suspects of crime. If a suspect is arrested and dies in prison, how can the police officer who effected the arrest be to blame for anything? So there's a bit of ignorance about how the criminal justice system operates and the justice system generally. And therefore, the judiciary needs to obviously have better outreach, especially to some of these very remote rural areas.
The private sector finds itself increasingly short of credit due to the government's increasing demand for domestic debt. Financial analysts note that as the government offers higher interest rates on its securities, commercial banks are reallocating a significant portion of their loans and advances away from the private sector and towards these government securities. DFCU Bank recently announced its financial results, revealing that 1.3 trillion was invested in government securities, while loans to the private sector stood at 1 trillion. This trend has been observed across several other commercial banks. Alex Kakande, a financial analyst, points out that the relative cost of investing in government securities when compared to the cost of risk of lending to the private sector is driving commercial banks to favor government investments. He cautions that this trend, which began during the COVID pandemic, is now spreading throughout East Africa and is likely to continue crowding out private sector lending.
The reality is, for as long as the government is offering 16% return on an investment of a treasury bill, a treasury bond, that is very, very lucrative for the banks, because all you need are how many people in the treasury department? 10 people. And they're going to make you 100 billion in revenue. Yet you're going to need close to 1,000 people to make you the same exact amount of money. Cost allocation to every billion. One person in a treasury department can make you 10 billion in a year, versus where you need maybe 100 people to make you 10 billion in revenue, when all of a sudden also the cost of them is higher. So the banks have noticed that they are changing everything.
The public has been urged to embrace the Kiswahili language and recognize language as a major factor in fostering prosperity. P.L.O. Lumumba, a renowned Kenyan lawyer, was speaking at the opening ceremony of the 3-day International Kiswahili Conference happening at the Kololo airstrip. This year's conference is running under the theme Embracing Kiswahili, a political and economic imperative for Africa's renaissance. The theme underscores the growing recognition of Kiswahili in promoting African unity and development. According to Lumumba, language plays a crucial role in unifying people, adding that language has been a major driving force in successful economies and civilizations across the world.
The experience and the use of Kiswahili by Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere to unify Tanzania is a lesson that we can use to unify the continent of Africa. And it gladdens my heart that I'm talking at a time when the African Union has recognized Swahili as the lingua franca for the continent of Africa.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, has launched a 64.5 billion shillings project to boost Uganda's forestry sector. This 5-year program will be funded by the European Union, and it seeks to maintain the country's forests while profiting from them through various interventions from plantation management to processing to market access and finance. It comes in the wake of declining forest cover in the country. Speaking at the launch of the project, Gabriel Abebe Haley, the FAO Assistant Director General and Regional Representative for Africa, said the project is not just to manage forests, but to create viable businesses that generate employment, profits, and reinvestment opportunities. Leonidas Hitimana, the project manager at FAO, mentioned that the initiative will have 3 pillars. The first is focused on better management of existing plantations and certification support, and the second involves upgrading machinery and equipment to improve efficiency and reduce losses. For more stories and the latest updates, log on to SanyoFM.com.